Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Basscast Radio. I am your host, Brian Carter. Welcome back to tonight's show. Guys, for everyone who is watching on YouTube, Bass Geek is back with me this week. Thomas has the week off again. Slacker.
Big money. Big money.
Big money right there. Slacker. Just kidding.
Spending a week abroad. Is what, like 2 weeks abroad now? Right?
Yeah, no joke. All right, just kidding. Hopefully Thomas will be back with us next week. We're excited to have him back. But guys, Chad Green is in the house with us. Smith Mountain Lake Guide. For you guys who are and go to the website each and every month, Chad does our lake report for Smith Mountain Lake. So we thought we'd have him on tonight. Plus, he just won the Bass King Smith Mountain Lake event over the weekend. So congratulations to you, Chad, on that. Sorry I couldn't be there. But we were at Rivers and Roads. There's over 100 and some boats that competed in the Rivers and Roads this year. The numbers keep going up, which is good, which is what I heard. And congratulations to Dustin Wilhelm and Brian Canterbury, who took the win and took the $15,000 home. So both their biggest win ever. And it came to two nicer guys right there. And congratulations to them. Dustin's had, I want to say, was that last year or this year? Dustin's had, I think it's last year. Dustin got his first Major League Fishing win on the James River last year as a co-angler. So he's had things are ticking up for Dustin, and congratulations to him. Plus, he made the Bass Nation of Virginia State team as well. So that's why you guys see the Basscast.com and Missile Baits all over his jersey. We sponsored him for that, and we really, really appreciate him wearing the jersey. And you guys all know Chad is rocking the Basscast jersey as well. And if you're ever ready to upgrade, just let us know, Chad, and we'll be happy to do that for you.
Yep.
So,
need one next year, for sure.
What's that?
I said I definitely need to get some for next year.
Yeah, I talked to some people over the weekend. I was like, when you're ready, let me know. So, guys, Amanda Tarr with Wild Wear America. Guys, Wild Wear America, that's who we go through for our jerseys here at the Basscast.com. So reach out to her. Get ready for 2026. It's almost October, everybody. Believe it or not, we're halfway through September. The year has flown by. It's kind of been a whirlwind, to be honest, but the year has flown by, and we still have a bunch of NPFL tournaments left for the season, but the big boys, Major League Fishing and Bass Pro has wrapped up. But when this comes out next weekend is the EQ qualification event that will be taking place for the 2026. I can't remember how many. Do you guys know right offhand how many anglers will go from the EQ qualification?
Is it just 10 or is it 15? I can't remember. It's right there.
Fish the Elite Series.
So
that's coming up. So it's gonna be an exciting weekend next weekend. By the time this comes out, guys, have already been to the 94.9 Star Country event. You guys can head back and check out the results for that, as well as the Bass Nation event on Bugs Island. So that's where the Basscast.com has been. And like I said, the season is kicking back into gear. It's fall here, kind of fallish. The temperatures have started to drop. The mornings are starting to get cool. But before we start talking to Chad, let's turn over to Geek real quick and see what's happening with you, boss man.
Well, not a lot. The boat's in the shop. Well, I should say the boat trailer's in the shop because we all
you
know
finally got it in here.
They make quality boat trailers nowadays. I mean, anybody that owns a boat will tell you how everybody makes a quality boat trailer. But yeah, it's in the shop right now, and hopefully we're going to get that back tomorrow. So, we're kind of behind on the videos. It's kind of put us behind, and the bite was, we dropped a good little video catching some. The bite was pretty good and getting better. So I know we're probably missing some good stuff right now, and it's annoying. So
I know so you dropped that video. Any other bangers coming out So anybody needs to know about?
Not right now. I've got nothing in the. We've been flying by the seat of our pants, and and now we got pants. So we're I don't know. I'll be honest with you. Like, I don't know. It may be 2-3 days in the rotation before we get a video up. We got a ton of them ready. We got a ton of stuff ready to be shot, but
Yeah.
we got nothing, man. It's just been tough. The wife's Jeep broke down.
Oh,
The
shoot.
boat breaks, the trailer breaks, and probably one hub, and good times.
You know, my old man used to say the best 2 days of a boat's the day you buy it and the day you sell it.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I'll tell
that's
you what,
why
I wish I
we
would
got
have.
Chad Green on tonight, and I would rather give Chad Green whatever he costs to go out with him on the water for that day and have a great day of fishing with Chad. And this is not a promo for Chad, but Chad took us out and it was a great time. And give him, he got to pay insurance, he got to pay gas, he got to buy the title, he got to buy the taxes, and he got to pay for the boat. And I take my ass on to the house, and it's beautiful. We had a great day with Chad.
What's great is my tag. Apparently, I've been, who knows how long I've been driving around with no tag on my boat trailer, so it's fell off somewhere, the old bracket. And then yeah, man. So I wished I hadn't have sold my. I had the old Triton, old Ruby, that I kind of kept for
Yep.
the '98. I wished I'd have held on to her too, so that because I did for a while, and then I was like, well, this boat's been great, and then 3 months after I sell it, the boat itself has been great, but the trailer, which they're trailers, man.
They get dumped
I don't
into the
think
water
anybody
all
makes a
the
good
freaking
trailer
time.
now. Everybody you go out there and look at, the trailer manufacturers are just garbage. So I call you out, trailer manufacturers. Do better, you sorry pieces of crap.
Oh my God. So GoFundMe starting next week for Geek. We're just gonna keep adding to the funds around here. Everybody's got to GoFundMe. Oh crap. But yeah, the trailers get dumped in the water so much. I wonder if there's, I don't own a boat. I don't know. So there's probably got to be, every so many years you need to kind of repack everything and redo what you need to do.
Well, we caught it early, so it wasn't no big deal.
Well,
so,
good.
we're gonna go ahead. I'm down here in the mountains. So, we got one lake we go to and I don't care how slow you drive, the trailer brakes are, stinking by the time you get there. So we're gonna have all that checked out and have all that stuff fixed and checked on and make sure a wheel don't pass us as we're going down the interstate anywhere. It's always an unpleasant feeling. So
funny you say that on the tags. I read most of my emails, guys. Basscast, I read all my emails pretty much, but my regular emails I don't. And I finally just told the DMV to start sending me back that little yellow card in the mail so I can remember to renew stuff because I don't pay attention. And I think my tags have run out by like 6 months on the car.
I don't even think in Virginia, I know we're supposed to have one, but I've been driving around for probably 6 months or a year without a tag on the trailer. I've had cops ride me. I don't even know if they check it. So
all right.
They're like, it's a boat trailer. He's good.
All right, guys. Want to talk about giant bass, big tournaments, big payout. Congratulations, like I said earlier, Chad Green taking the win this past weekend on Smith Mountain Lake with 18.48 pounds at the Cat Bass Kings event. Want to thank Mr. Dawson for running another great event. You guys, Kevin is probably the second coolest guy I ever met, to be honest. He really is awesome. Other than my dad, Kevin is amazing. He's so funny and so great to hang out with, and he runs an amazing trail. He does this for love because he doesn't own a boat. Currently, his boat is sold. So he just shows up to host these events and does a great job. And we had a really good turnout for the last one. I think it was, 19 anglers showed up for the last one, which is pretty daggone good because the one before that, I think it was like 5. So a great turnout for this one. So congratulations, Chad. And let's talk about this win. First of all, we'll talk about the win, and then we'll dive into what's going on around Smith Mall Lake right now.
Yeah, just last couple of weeks I haven't had time to fish. I mean, I've done some guide
That's when
trips.
you usually win.
Yeah. But I hadn't fished hardly any tournaments this summer. I mean, it kind of started off, on a whim and on a nighttime tournament. Me and a friend of mine, Jim, we fished a night tournament, won that one, and then me and Johnny fished the Region 4.
Mm-hmm.
And,
You won that.
We won that one. And then I didn't fish for 2 weeks because of just everything going on, a lot of stuff going on in life. And, I work full time, so said, well, I don't have time to get on the water this week, so I'll just wing it. And, second cast that morning, I caught a 4.5 pounder and
Wow.
had a limit by 8:30 and small limit, 12, 13 pounds or something, and kept beating and banging. Could never really get on a pattern, really. I mean, it was kind of junk fishing, up shallow, throwing top water, fishing deep, skipping a jig around, getting it on everything, around everything I could, and ended up catching another 4-pounder at like 11 o'clock and caught some more. Just didn't catch a lot of fish, just kind of spun off of what we did 2 weeks ago, and just kept running shallow water, and then I'd mix in some deep water, and about 30 minutes left, I caught one almost 5 pounds up shallow again, and the last one, and then just worked out. I mean, it's been a tough bite here. Anytime the lake turns over, this is the earliest I've seen it turn over. It's going to get tough. I mean, low water, clear water, a lot of small bait fish around. You got some fish out chasing shad, other fish eating bluegills and crawfish, and they can catch them in 2 foot of water. You can catch them in 25 foot of water. They can be everywhere. So they get scattered and they change. I went out the next day and caught them again, and caught them really good. Once I zoned in on kind of what they were doing, had a 6-pounder, had another one 5 something, had another one right at 5, and just fished 4 hours, so
That's awesome.
so, but they are biting. I mean, it's I think long as it'll stay cool,
Yeah.
the fish will continue to feed. You get those warm days once the fall turnover happens. That's what kind of kills that fall bite. Rain sometimes is better in the fall than it is any other time of year. These fish on this lake don't really like rain for whatever reason. It produces a northeast or an east wind is the reason, but in the fall it can be productive, and I think it's because those fish are just so shallow. They're up there looking for the crawfish to start heading to the bank, and that's what they're after. But man, it can be like, I think that region tournament, me and Johnny, we caught 30 some keepers that day.
Holy
and then Saturday, I think I caught maybe 12, not as many. And then the next day, Sunday, I caught probably caught 15 in 4 hours. So it's definitely, the big fish are going to show up too. I mean, we had an 8-pounder in the region tournament. Then somebody had a 7 something in the Bass Kings. But in the fall, it's kind of weird. Those big fish will come up, and they will show up in September and October in the craziest places. And you don't expect to catch those giant fish that time of year, but there is a little window from now until November that those big fish will show up. Then they kind of disappear in November once the water temperature cools off a little bit, and then they pick back up when the water gets below 60 degrees. It's like that 60 to 68 degree water temperature. They kind of disappear. Even in the spring, they kind of get finicky. But anything above that or below that, it's like that's when your higher chances are catching. You got some more tournaments coming up this month. I won't be able to fish many tournaments for the next 2 months. There's a couple I'm going to be able to make, but I'm be out of town quite a bit. So I'll be gone, but it's definitely going to be some low weights or, 5 fish limit tournaments.
Right.
I don't foresee seeing much over 20 pounds to win those, but like the big bass tour coming up, there's no doubt in my mind it's going to take a 8 to 9 pound fish.
Wow.
No doubt.
It really blows my mind that lake is already turned over. That's already going through turnover, because we're not seeing that down here. I mean, we're not that much farther south than you guys, not on the Tennessee.
Because, we have some temperature sensors here at the lake, and the surface temperatures, it balanced out about a week ago to 20 foot down. So, I mean, it's already, started its trend. That was a week ago. So,
now they did start draining the water. I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, it's been dry here. I mean, it's been kind of aggravating because I planted a bunch of food plots for deer hunting. And I don't know, about 6 acres, and I ain't got no rain, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's driving me crazy. But we had no rain. This is the 2nd year in a row. It's been a dry fall. And matter of fact, here at my house, I don't hunt here at the house, but I got food plots here in the backyard. There's 7 or 8 deer right here right now eating. And I have to run the water sprinkler on it to keep it going because it's of them here to eat every day. There's one, I think there's 8 right there.
Chad's got the deer on the mind. If it ain't deer, it's golf, guys. That's Chad. That's Chad's 3 things. I've been knowing him long enough. It's golf is right there too.
Yeah. Yeah, me and my wife spend a lot of time playing golf. We enjoy it. And,
that's awesome.
It's a lot of fun and just, anything outdoors.
Heck yeah. You guys all know from previous shows we've had, Chad keeps the journal, and he's talked about it many times on here. How important was that journal this past weekend with this win that you had? Like you said, you didn't practice any, but I guess I know you kind of went off of past history.
Yeah. I mean, past history in the fall is a lot of times you see a lot of small fish show up and you catch a 10-incher or a 12-inch fish, and you're like, well, that's a dink. And then you catch another 12-incher, that's a dink. And then boom, you catch a 6-pounder. Doing the same thing. That's always been a trend in the fall here. And usually all the way up in the middle of November seems like it's been a trend. Sunday morning, it was a little different. I saw more quality fish on Sunday. It could have been because I kind of zoned in on what areas they were pulling up shallow in. And that's why I'd picked that up. But most of the time that is a trend, and that's something that's in my mental bank. If I ever start losing my memory, I won't catch any more fish. No.
So
understanding, what the bites is a big part. You can have history all day long.
Right.
You can have history all day long. But if you don't know and understand where you're getting bit and why you got bit there, and you can't put 3 or 4 pieces of that puzzle together, your history means nothing. For example, 3 of the bigger fish that I've caught last weekend, I caught in places that I haven't even fished this year or in I don't know how long.
Wow.
But I knew how they were set up. I understood what they were kind of doing. Then I put the memory piece together, but I had to have the pattern, and I had to understand the fish brain piece of it. What are they doing? Why are they in these areas? Why are they looking, just throwing scenarios out there. Is it a south-facing bank? Is it a north-facing bank? Is it a small rock on a point? Is it a big rock on a point? Whatever it is, there's a fine detail to it. Could be transition lines that lead to the area. There's so many things that go through my mind when I get a quality fish bite. I'm gonna fish all around in there and try to understand why that fish was there. Because there's a reason. There's a reason. They don't have fins for nothing. They use them to take them to where they want to go to feed.
Right.
It's there's a reason they're there.
On last week's episode, guys, hopefully you all have got a chance to take a listen to that. We talked about the water transitioning. And I've got a coworker. He's been hitting his Smith Mountain Lake pretty daggone hard, and he was telling me that the lake was in a transition. It is more back into the creeks. Is that kind of right, Chad, or is it starting to get towards the main lake?
As far as the transition of
the cool
turnover.
water, the water turnover.
the water turn. Yeah, I mean the main channel. A couple weeks ago, the 20-foot down was warmer than what the surface was.
Wow.
And now it's kind of balanced out. It's pretty even. So
Y'all's nights, have they been unusually cold early this year?
we've had some cold spells. Yes, we did. It was like a false fall, late August,
Yeah.
and it's been a kind of an early fall, is what I see. But it's been so dry we haven't been able to notice it, and we're not done with some hot days, but it just seems like everything's a little bit early as far as temperature. And
Yeah.
when I was talking about all the seed I got on the ground waiting on rain, I was looking at like the monthly forecast, and the forecast is below average temperatures for, area in Tennessee, my area here. And
Yeah, they started moving. We normally see them move. We see the water temperature start to fall last 2 weeks of August. And this year we had that sort of false fall, that real hard cold front come through right around the first, maybe second week. And I mean, where I was catching them out on some ledges, buddy, they were gone. They were already moving.
yeah,
And
that's
I was
right.
like, holy cow. I was like, that really moved.
Like you can be in the water and you can figure out what the water temperature is outside, or that it's raining.
Yep.
I think they're smarter than what we think they are. But
Oh, yeah.
places in West Virginia, they've already had frost. So
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Especially this early.
Yeah.
That's really crazy.
Yeah, of course, in the mountains, but still,
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. It's been a long time. The last time I remember a frost had to be 30 years ago in the first week of October. But, it seems like it's later and later every year, but I don't know. We'll see what happens.
So when the water's doing its turnover like this and on Smith Mountain Lake, is there, how does Chad end up changing up his game? Is there a certain...
I see that water temperature start to mix, like once it's in, what you notice is the number of bites that you're getting in deep water. They start to get where you're not getting 2 or 3 bites on a spot. You're getting 1 bite and you can't get another one. And then you start catching these little fish out there in 15, 25 foot of water. As soon as that starts happening, the big fish are gone. And that initiates it. Now, you could go out there tomorrow and catch a 5-pounder in 20 foot of water. Yes, you can do. Is it going to be consistent and reliable? Nope, it's not. It will not be. I've seen that deep water bite carry on into the second week of October. But usually by about the 5th to 8th, 10th of October, it's done, even in the good years. But it was so cool back in August. It just changed it this year big time. But
Yeah,
what it is
really
now,
did.
throw the curveball. So the stripers, they never really made it up into the areas that they've been coming to in the summer for as long as I can remember. On the Roanoke side, they stayed down in the big water, and they're still down there now. Now, the cool water hasn't made them move, but the
Right.
bait fish have tremendously started to move. They start usually about mid-August. But the fish, the bigger bass, don't really follow those bait fish right now. For whatever reason, I think it's the type of bait fish that are migrating that time of year because the big fish aren't with them.
Mhm.
And years ago, those big fish would follow those shad and follow that migration. But nowadays, they don't do that. It's like, they don't have that interest in those types of bait fish. And I think a lot of them are thread fins is why. But it's weird. Some years, in the winter, they're after them thread fins, but then the rest of the year, it's like they don't have any interest in it. So kind of odd, but things change, and most of the time, it has something to do with the ecosystem, and it's not something that somebody did. Something changed. Could be rainfall, could be cool weather, right? That in the wintertime, it changes the bait fish forage. The bait fish flourish, or they die off in the winter, and then another bait fish flourishes or doesn't get to flourish because another bait fish is overpopulated. Then in turn, the stripers, bass, the crappie, everything else changes with them. And a lot of people hear them all the time. They say, what they do to the lake? Oh, this happened or that happened or this or whatever. No, nobody went in and physically changed something. It doesn't switch.
Let's go through cycles. Yeah. I mean, we see that, we see that on the lakes around here all the time. 20-pound bags will be, abundant. And then all of a sudden, 5-10 years, it's 16-pound bags. And then it'll be, and so there's reasons for that.
Right. Yeah, it is. And it's one of those things that, I hear it all the time. Like when we first started putting F1s in, they said, oh, it's going to change bass fishing forever. It's going to make it worse. And they didn't like it. Well, it's not the story now. You don't hear that anymore.
No.
And then it's, the thread or the blueback herring, somebody, they stocked them here. No, they didn't stock them here. Somebody brought them from a lake that has them, used them as bait. They got done fishing. They dumped them out. However many years ago, and they finally established. It's just like spotted bass. They've always been in this lake. There's very few of them, and I hope that they never get started.
You got that right.
We catch, it needs to be harvested immediately.
And I got some good news for everybody. A spotted bass eats as good as a crappie, I promise.
There you go. That's right. But
what transition do you see Smith Mountain Lake in right now for this fall?
Really, right now, the bite's been pretty good. I don't know. You got to get into October.
Yeah.
Once, like I say, water drops in the 60s, changes everything. It's sometimes we call October Sucktober. It can be tough, and it usually switches right there around the second week of October. And depending on how cool it gets, unless you get some wind, you get some rain, typically you got all these bluebird high pressure days.
Right.
And that's what makes it tough, right? And typically you don't have a lot of wind, and those fish, they just get finicky. You don't have rain runoff. You don't have algae bloom anymore, so the water gets clear, right? So you put all those factors into it. That's what makes it tough. And that water temperature range is a tough temperature range on any lake too, unless you got a shad spawn going on or something to get them active.
That's why I leave my largemouth lakes and go to smallmouth lakes.
Yeah. Smallmouth.
They love it.
Yep, completely different story. But
if somebody was coming, say like me, I've never fished Smith Mountain. Say I'm planning a trip in October. Let's just say the first 2 weeks of October. Tell me what I should look for as far as like give me structure cover and give me 3 to 5 baits that I should have tied on right then and there.
One, look at the weather. You don't want it to be 75, 80 degrees and sunny.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Plan your trip around that. Look for some unstable patterns, some winds somewhere other than anything to do with east. All right. If you can get some rain, north winds, northeast winds, cold nights, plan your trip around that. Bring your top water baits, your basic stuff. A popper, like a big popper. Whopper plopper, buzz bait, your walking baits, your popping surface baits, right?
Yeah.
Put your trolling motor on about 9 and keep going. Until the sun gets up. If you can throw it until they quit biting it, or you just have to kind of. That's if the shoe fits, wear it.
Yeah.
If it ain't fitting, they catch you off, put a different one on. The other thing is, a jig's always going to dominate on this lake. It's going to dominate.
Now, are you looking for predominantly rock when you're throwing the jig? Are we still talking about in October? Are we on main lake? Because the fish down here do something a little different, right? Like they'll pile up, but it's, September they start dropping. And we drop a lot down here, depending on the lake, it can be 20 to 40 feet. So when they start dropping, the shad and stuff kind of, they'll pull out. They actually live about midway first third in the creeks.
Yeah.
And when they drop, they'll kind of pull out. And then once it kind of stabilizes, we get into that cold weather, like you said, that 68, that's when they seem to show up in the back of the creeks heavily down here. And so, 65. Maybe
typically the back of the creeks doesn't produce too much in the fall here like it used to years ago.
Yeah.
Most of the bigger fish are going to be main lake, main points, main lake pockets, mouths of the creeks. But yeah, rock is a big factor. Points, docks, those are going to be your 3 key things. And there's going to be something that is key to it that day, but the next day it might not be the exact same thing. That's the biggest thing that Smith Mountain people sometimes get caught up in, the fact that, I caught them on this yesterday. It's going to work for the next 3 days.
Yeah.
I don't care if you caught them on it for 3 hours. The 4th hour, it could change to something else.
Yeah. Well, I got a buddy who used to tell me all the time, and I say this all the time in my fall videos. And the last video I put out, it was just me going, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Okay, let me try this. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Okay, finally caught one. But I tell them all the time, I'm like, look, fall is junk fishing. If you catch something on one of those bait, more than likely you just go ahead and put it down, because you're probably going to catch it on something different here later. That's not totally true, but you get what I'm saying. It's a lot of times from day to day, things are going to change. They're going to want something a little different.
Yeah, and that's one thing. Like Sunday, I fished. I started out that morning throwing a buzz bait around. Never had a bite. Had a couple swirls. Nothing going on. Fished main channel. Fished pockets. Fished creeks. And I kind of just changed areas a little bit. Picked up the jig. Did the same thing. Couldn't get any bites, and then I kind of went in fishing like where are these fish moving to, and started fishing some of those areas, rocks and docks. And I started getting bit. And I run to another spot. He kind of fishing the same kind of transition area, started getting bit. And I was catching them on jig. And then I was like, there's a little bit of breeze blowing right now. I mean, it's just a little bit of wind out of the north. And I picked up a crankbait and caught a 6-pounder.
Wow.
It's like fishing the same transition area, different bait because the wind was blowing it. But it was all transition contour lines feeding that area. That was the key. Understanding those contours.
Now, explain to everybody that don't know, when you say those transition areas, those contour areas, tell everybody what you mean exactly by that. Like, what are you saying? Because I know for here, it's a lot of rock. So it can be a transition, from literally chunk rock to pea gravel, or chunk rock to a mud bank, or it could be, slate rock to, black rock to to just some sort of chunk rock, or it can be the transition of, a drainage ditch to that little, the edge of that drainage ditch. So,
yeah, the contour lines. I mean, it's kind of like, if you're walking around the side of a hill, think about it as a human being, which is going to be the easiest path depending on that contour.
So you're talking about really like the contour lines, like the contour lines on the topo map. So you're talking about a specific depth range. Is that what you're talking about?
That's what you got to understand. It's all about triangles, and I still believe. I mean, I grew up deer hunting in the mountains, and I believe by that. And it works the same way bass fishing. It's not even funny.
Hey, all right, so we all know, guys, the Big Bass Tour is right around the corner again on Smith Mountain Lake, coming back this fall. And like Chad and I were talking earlier, there's a lot of great events coming up. The Basscast.com tournament series starts back up in October. So you have that, the Big Bass Tour, and the Cat Fall events happening on Smith Mountain Lake. We were talking about earlier, transition water and the water turnover. And like you said earlier, the water has begun to turn over on Smith Mountain Lake. Is there a pattern that you kind of focus on during this time that, someone else might be able to help them find them a little bit easier, maybe a little bit quicker when they're out there on the water?
Well, the biggest thing that I can tell people about fishing during this time of year, we all have gas in our boat, right?
Yeah.
You can't go nowhere until you know how to catch them.
Yeah.
And if you're spot fishing, you're probably not on the right thing, because you're just fishing that spot because there's a rock in the water, or there's a brush pile, or I caught a 5-pounder off of this dock last year at this time. And most people, that's what they do. And that's fine, right? And you might catch them that way sometimes. But the biggest mistake I think people make is, number one, is they don't, my old term is KISS. Keep it simple, right? It's keep it simple. There's no doubt the jig is dominated on this lake from September to December for as long as I can remember. Has it won every tournament? No.
Mm-mm.
Has it been a factor in every tournament for somebody? Absolutely. And most people just get too in tune, and they come out with this new drop shot bait. It's the best thing in the world. Well, some baits are made to catch fishermen, but all baits will catch fish as long as you throw them long enough. And they're worried about, this jig's got to have 3 strands of brown and 3 strands of green and 1 pink stripe. Well, let me tell you something. That bass don't care as long as it looks like a bluegill or crawfish, and you pitch it in the right spot. He ain't going to sit there. They ain't got hands analyzing whether they're going to eat it or not. They got a mouth that they're going to eat it with, and that's what they're going to do. Or he's sitting there looking at it, and you got to make him bite. That's my take on it. I think that is probably one of the most successful things that's helped me, is putting all that other stuff out of the way. And most time, if I'm fishing tournament, I'm going to have 2 or 3 rods on the deck of my boat. And that's all I'm going to have, because I don't want any more confusion. I want to keep it simple. I'm going to focus on my strengths, right? Regardless of what time of year it is. And that's what I'm going to do, because I've been there and done that and had 10 rods and bought this bait and that bait and this bait. Did all that stuff. Didn't help me. You walked in my garage or my shop, you'd see all this stuff of these simple things. Simple. And granted, now I'm just fishing here now, but I feel very confident that I could go fish a lot of places with this same technique and still catch them, because I've done the same thing in New York. Learned some things up there that I brought back here that work here. So it's But just keeping it simple, understanding like why did you get that bite here, and what else can you do to expand off of that. But there's no use of starting a big motor until you in running 5 miles down the lake unless you're just wanting to go, well, I'm out here for fun today and I don't want to drag a jig around, or I don't want to throw a crankbait, or I don't want to throw top water or a buzz bait, and I want to go look for schooling fish and just have fun. Different story, right? You're just out there having fun, having a good day. But if you want to win tournaments, I mean, you got to understand the fish. That's the biggest piece of it, is understanding and actually being able to block everything else out around you. And you know what that bait's doing under the water. And you've got, sometimes I feel like you know that there's a fish sometimes looking at your bait when you get zoned in so close. It's just like on Sunday when I fished, those fish had gotten so sensitive to any pressure with that jig. Like if they felt you with the least little bit, you felt the thump, and you fire and you miss them. That's those thump nothings. That's what we call them, thump nothing. I got to where I was fishing a little bit slower, and I started watching my line instead of feeling the fish. I quit missing them.
You know, we talk about that this time of your short strikes a lot.
Mm-hmm. It's because they felt you somewhere.
Because of what?
They felt you. They're notorious for that on this lake with a jig. And there's a couple different ways that you got to understand. It's one, they're either feeling you. Two, they picked up your sonar. They actually run into that cone, moving with the bait. You made a sound with your trolling motor. You stomped and tapped on the boat. Something changed. And 9 times out of 10, that second thump you feel with a jig, a lot of times is it coming back out of his mouth.
Now, be a line watcher. That's something I've learned throwing a jig. Be a line watcher.
That's right. And a lot of people, you know, it ain't a lot of jig fishermen out there anymore. Some of these younger kids that do well on this, like I've been helping them. You have to tell them, you got to learn it. Put every other rod out of your boat, pick up a jig, only go fishing with it, and keep doing that until you learn it and you understand it. That's what they need to do.
All right, guys, you heard it here. Chad's got a roll with. We really appreciate him coming on tonight and talking with us and talking to us about Smith Mountain Lake, what all is happening there. And like I said earlier, a lot of great events left to happen on the lake, and the Big Bass Tour is back again. Do you think we're going to see 6, 7s for the winner of the Big Bass Tour in October, or I don't really foresee anything 8 to 10.
The hourly winner or overall?
Overall.
Oh, definitely 8.
8.
8 plus.
Okay. You heard it here.
Well, if you ain't got that, I mean, I could be wrong. It could be a 7 something, but it's going to be, even if warm weather comes in, there's enough big fish up shallow right now that somebody's going to throw something in front of one of them, and you could see something overnight.
Wow.
As many big fish that was caught this summer at nighttime is more than I've ever seen. Bug landed on me again. At night, it wouldn't surprise me to see a 9 or 10. I would not be shocked.
Wow.
But I will tell you, you're going to see by spring, you're going to see over 11.
Ooh. All right.
That's what I think.
Chad Green throwing it out there. Everybody, guys, don't forget, check out Last Cast Guide Service, Smith Mountain Lake, and check out their website. Is it Last Cast? What's the website again? I know it's Last Cast Guide Service, but is it .net?
Last Cast Guide Service, sml.com.
There you go, sml.com. So check it out. Book a trip today with Chad. And like I said, make sure you check out the Lake Report. He writes a great Lake Report. We publish it right here on thebasscast.com. So make sure you check out that as well. Any parting words before we roll out tonight, everybody?
No, just appreciate what you do, Brian. You know, you're the one that's keeping this bass industry alive right here in this part of Virginia, and what you're doing, Bass Geek, down there in Tennessee. I mean, you guys are the ones that's pushing these kids out here. Our younger generation, that's where the focus needs. It's social media driven, and what you guys do is what keeps this industry alive. It helps support our bait companies. Our bait companies have to be there. If we don't have that, and we don't have participation in tournaments, that's where everybody struggles at the end. So it's what you guys do. You know, Brian, you run a tournament trail. Kevin Dawson, what he's doing with the tournament trail, that's the appreciation piece of it. And you know, Missile Baits, what they're doing out here for the fishing industry.
Oh yeah,
you know, they're helping out the youth too, and you know, I can't speak enough about them. And Smith Mountain Boat and Tackle is another one. You know, they're great boat dealers. If you need something boat wise, Indian Point Marina, Dwayne Lamb needs some tackle. Go see him. Carries all missile baits. And that's about it. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you inviting me. Enjoy it.
Appreciate you being on, man.
Yeah, appreciate you being on. Guys, have a great week. September is almost over. Like I said, big weekend ahead. You guys will see all that on the basscast.com. And hopefully some big old giant bass ahead in the future here on Smith Mountain Lake. That's it for us. Thank you for listening, and we will see you all again right here next week on Basscast Radio.